I'm interested in the kind of division of identity as it affects Marilyn, and often discussions about Marilyn Monroe are framed in terms of the an opposition between the real self and the manufactured self, and often that is around, the split between the Norma Jean as being the authentic and the real self, and Marilyn Monroe, the movie star, the image and the icon as being the inauthentic, or the manufactured, the constructed self. In fact, but both Norma Jean and Marilyn Monroe were constructed selves, and that we all are, to a large extent, constructed selves. We all develop personas. It's a part of being human. So teasing out what is real from what is not real, or what's inauthentic, is always problematic for all of us. But for a person like Marilyn Monroe, as Lois was saying in her talk, who was very much framed by the Hollywood narrative as being this kind of Cinderella, having this Cinderella story. Her story is the rags to riches story. So she was framed in that way, and she also used that kind of narrative of feminine transformation, which was also an American myth. She used that really to kind of in the service of her own career development. The idea of the false self, and some of you have heard me talk at length about this in the subject. Donald Winnicott is a British psychoanalyst, and he's a very interesting writer. I'm interested in him because of his ideas about child development and what are the necessary conditions for one to grow up and have a secure and healthy and fulfilled sort of a sense of identity. And he, one of the concepts that he talks about, or one of the terms he uses, is the false self. And he says that the false self is set up to protect the true self, to respond to challenges in the environment. The false self essentially takes up the role of social compliance. And I would, going back to thinking about Marilyn's childhood, before she came into her power through being an image. Winnicott interests me because he talks about the way in which trauma affects the development of the self. That the false self is a protective self that a child will develop in order to protect, to insulate the authentic self, the vulnerable self, from total annihilation. I think Marilyn would have become very skilled at developing this false self, a self that is very adept at working out what is needed in these particular circumstances to survive. So how to please this person, how to please that person, how to please another person. So Lois was talking about mimicry, about acting and mimicry, and what a genius of a mimic Marilyn was. I'm appealing to this notion of the false self as well, that I think was developed in her childhood, as being one of the factors that enabled her to be such a good actress and to be so willing, I suppose, towards the camera, because the camera is also about artifice, and it's about presenting a face, presenting a persona. At the core of her personality, though, the core of her psychology, I think she was doomed in linking her success as a person to chasing an ideal self.